Okay, we've got about a minute left. And 5:30 for the golf team is go time, because we usually do this with the staff. I do it with the team at 5:30 in the morning. And the fun part is if anybody walks through that door after 5:30, they have to come down and do push-ups in front of the entire group. So I don't know if we want to hold the membership to that. Mrs. Curry, parking is a very tough subject for the director of golf right now. Well, it's 5:30 and we'll get started. First and foremost, thank you all for taking time to come out tonight. I know Michael and Eric have worked very, very hard for you and for me on preparing some data to go over about our tee time management and how the last year went. So we're going to have some fun with you, but how many of you don't know Michael Lewis? The tall, skinny one with tons of energy? And then Eric Chancellor. These two are so talented that I have entrusted them with the two main arteries to the heart of Desert Mountain. One is they're responsible for club events and tournaments, and the other is tee time placement. So if any of those things happen to go sideways and we stop the artery to the heart, then my inbox fills up considerably. But that hasn't happened very often because of these two and their hard work. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Michael. He's going to go through the presentation, and then at the end we'll have a Q&A for any questions that you have, anything about tee time management, golf tournaments, what's going on here on the mountain. We're here to listen and take your feedback tonight. So enjoy. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Welcome everybody. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. Last year we had our first kind of annual meeting where it's really all about transparency for us, and it's really we're working with you to reserve the group tee times, and we're working on behalf of you. So we want you to understand exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it to try to best accommodate both our member groups who are and you being the leaders of those member groups, and then just the membership as a whole, who's also submitting tee time requests on a day-to-day basis. So this is really an open forum to, if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, we're going to go through a brief presentation, just kind of showing you how we go about facilitating the tee time management program on behalf of our groups and the rest of the membership. And then certainly open up the floor to questions. Thanks again. Page 2. To start out with, who participates in group golf? Why does group golf or our tee time management system exist in the first place? So essentially, the group system was designed for anybody who wanted 3 or more consecutive tee times for their groups, as 4 tees only allows 2 consecutive times. So the vast, you can see right now, 27 of our groups request 4 or more tee times, and that's at least once a week. So we have some groups who get 4 or more tee times 4 days a week, or anything in between. We also do have a number of groups who request 1 or 2 tee times where they would just prefer that the staff books their times on their behalf, rotating them around all of the courses. So it just makes it a little bit easier on them for those who don't have as much of a course preference and are okay being rotated around. Just saves them the time of having to book each and submit all the requests. So we're happy to accommodate those groups. We're going to get into some of the stats that we started tracking a couple years ago, but essentially 31%, or about a third of our tee times across the mountain, can be attributed back to our member groups to which you are leading. So about a third, which is good information to have. At the bottom of the page, we have a snapshot of March, as many of you know, is one of our rock and roll months around here. So you can see the number of groups who have standing requests by day, and it's pretty evident which are the busier days, strictly from a group perspective. You can see the number of individual groups and then the number of times that are strictly attributed to those groups, given a snapshot of March. But at the same time, we're within 10% of this kind of peak level, really from here all the way through the first week of May. So we're going to start off, get into some nitty-gritty stats. So I'm going to try to explain what you're looking at. This is the combination, this is the last 2 years, so 15-16 and 16-17 seasons combined. So a little bit better than this 1 year. You can see, so that's total rounds is combined rounds from strictly kind of our core season from November to May, which we felt like is the most appropriate time period to talk about. That's where we have all 6 courses open for the vast majority of the time and most of our groups going. So I have it broke up by day, by where we see, really this is looking at the whole tee time request system. So you can see under the request percentage category, at the very bottom, totaling it up, 75% of our rounds are going through the request system. So 75% of our times are booked a week in advance, leaving theoretically 25% of the times available for other members to fill in within that week. So we find that we like members to participate in the request system if possible, because we're able to track that information and we know that we're able to accommodate at a high level, which we're going to get to later on in the presentation. Essentially, going back a handful of years ago, there was a lot of misconceptions about what percentage of our tee times were attributed to our groups versus just the rest of the membership at large. From tracking this information the last 2 years, we were able to kind of break it down as a whole. Again, about 31% group play. And then you can see how it's broke up by day, where you saw on the previous page how many groups are playing. So this is a lot of the same data from the last slide, page 4. This is comparing the data strictly from the 15-16 season to 16-17. You can see that it was fairly consistent from 1 year to the next. Essentially, last season we saw an increase of about just under 5% of the number of members participating in the request system, which again we think is a good thing. The more members who are participating. And we saw a number of consistencies from day to day, not a lot of fluctuations. But again, good information to understand where the tee times are coming from on a day-to-day basis and then an overall basis.
Mike?
Yes?
Does that mean, that 25% of the times are unfulfilled?
It means, yes, and also there could be a tee sheet built and then cancellations happen to which other members can book in. So essentially, I'm able to track the number of tee times that go through the request bank, and noted at the bottom is kind of discussing some of the statistics. Yeah. So at the bottom, it discusses some of the statistical error, because certainly there are, if I had to estimate, there's at least a 5% plus or minus statistical error. Part of that being, in the request system, we treat all the times as a foursome, whereas not every request is for a foursome, we round it up. So we're able to look at the number of requests that go in for a given day, multiply that number of requests by 4, a foursome, and then compare that to the number of members or total players who played ultimately that day to determine the percentage of by day, how many of those times were groups, how many of those requests were just the general.
What on average, 25% of the times are unfulfilled?
25% of the times are, no, not, they may be unfulfilled 8 days in advance when I approve the tee sheet, but when you look at total rounds played on a day-to-day basis, and then if you go back in time a week, 75% of those times went through the request system, and then 25% were added within a week's time.
The other 25% of the tee times that were booked from that 8 day in advance time to the actual day, 25%.
Does Medicare come through as a request?
No, so part of the statistical error that is not counted towards, or Ladies' Day, for example, or any tournament, Dos Amigos, is going to be reflected in total rounds, but it won't be reflected as part of the request system. So that is where you'll see a certain amount of statistical error.
The other thing that's relevant to understand if you're looking at data is the actual time of start that you're measuring to the time that you stop during that day. There's not a lot of people that are going to start playing at 4 or 4:30. So do you factor that into that in your equation?
If, like 9-hole rounds, for example, like an afternoon round would be factored in as a total round.
We do not have a cutoff date though, like utilized time, so say 3 o'clock is your last time to utilize. Because of darkness, we don't factor in, the utilization of the tee sheet based on which times are available where you can actually get the tee holes in, so that's not factored into it.
So part of the agreement is kind of a social contract for group golf, for us managing the groups, that we agree to rotate the groups evenly amongst all available golf courses. So the goal would be, well, certainly we don't have, like for example, we have a lot of tournament rounds historically on Chiricahua, Geronimo, Cochise. So whereas less tournament rounds on Outlaw. So thus, Outlaw, we may have the most possible rounds available, whereas like I couldn't book a group onto a course that's going to be hosting a tournament. But so theoretically, you'd be looking to see about 1/6. So both of the graphs detail what we accomplished from November through May, strictly relative to our groups. So, not really. So part of the reason that we took the stats from November through May is that we try to start as we get through the overseas season, as we get all. It doesn't take that strictly into account.
You balance it out.
But for example, last year as Geronimo was closed for December and into January, there would have been just less possible rounds to look there, and that's where you look from 15-16 to 16-17, you saw a decrease in the number of rounds booked or reserved on Geronimo, and that could be a potential reason. All right, get into some of the good stuff. What you all care about as group leaders. So this is really getting at the heart of, as you might expect, we have our busier days and our less busy days. These numbers are pretty close to what we as staff members would expect. Starting back in 15-16, 2 years ago, we really felt like Thursday was our busiest day of the week, and then the numbers reflected that, showing that this is strictly our group play and that not anybody else submitting individual tee time requests. So we found on average, for example, 2 years ago, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday were kind of the more difficult days. Tuesday, when Ladies' Day and 9-hole par seeders take up 2 golf courses, it can get a little bit tight on select days. Whereas historically, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday would be the days that are a little less busy around the mountain. So last season, we saw that Friday took over as the busiest day in a relative sense across the mountain, and as such, the numbers kind of reflected what we observed. So this is good information for you as group leaders to understand that we approach managing each group in the same way, and we give the same amount of care and consideration to each group. But your decision on which day to play and at which time to play on a given day is really going to be the number one variable that affects your group's relative accommodation. We have a number of groups who have requests who just play on Monday and Wednesday, and they're pretty much perfectly accommodated throughout the year. It would be very unusual. Same for some of our Sunday groups. All right, another bit that I'm sure you're interested in seeing, time differential from request. So let me first preview this with some of the statistical error seen here. So we leave it up to our groups to tell us what your ideal time that you'd like to play is. So some of our groups tell us, I want 9:30. And other groups say, I want to play from 9 to 10. So when we're crunching numbers, say a group wants to play from 9 to 10 and they get an 8:50, I'm going to treat that as 10 minutes away from their request. Whereas a group who said 9:30 and they get an 8:50 first tee time, that would be 40 minutes from their request. So since we don't treat every group the same in regards to that, we leave it open to the groups what's ideal, that will result in a certain amount of statistical error. But we're proud of the consistency that we experience from one year to the next, using the same system from one year to the next, and to see for our groups on the top, we were able to hit that ideal exact time or time frame a little over a third of the time, about 37%, 36%, within a percentage within 2 years. Within 30 minutes, which is one that I look at a lot, we're at over 82%, and again, within 1% from one year to the next. Finally, within an hour, which is what we're of course always trying to get as an hour, we're up around 94%, again within a percentage point. So on average, you can see that's what we're accomplished, and again, that's in average. So you can see that there's certain days like Sunday, Wednesday, Monday, which groups are receiving much better relative accommodation versus a group who only plays on Friday morning or Thursday morning. That group would expect to have relatively higher numbers. And then at the bottom, we have just the membership as a whole. So this is including our groups and individual requests that are going through the request system. And Forties is able to crunch some numbers on our behalf and provide those numbers to us. So essentially, the stats for overall are almost exactly the same as our groups. So again, Forties is calculating their numbers slightly different than I'm calculating mine, because any individual request is going to be exact, whereas for groups I'm dealing within time frames in certain respects. So those are numbers that we are fairly pleased with, and we'd certainly like to hear your feedback in that regard. Finally, finishing up, again, we want to provide you as the group leaders as much information as possible relative to making the best decisions as far as if I want to receive maximum accommodation, when is the best time to request a certain time. So we simply, in the last 3 slides, included a visual of each of those blocks is a different group, what their time frame is. You can see some groups might have an hour and a half long time frame, but you can kind of see there who you as a group are, what other groups you're competing with. So everything in our system is, if one group gets the short end of the stick on one day, we look at that data, and the next week, and for example, let's look at Tuesday from 8:30 to 9. we have 4 different groups, 5 times, 5 times, 2 and 7. So maybe the group with 5 times gets the short end one day, and then versus another group that gets better accommodation. As we track that data, we note that, so then the next Tuesday that we book those times, we ensure a certain level of balance. So you can see from the handout that you have, that most of the folks have, that's essentially the exact same group profile that we keep for each of your groups. We highlight in green, so we highlight in green the times that were accommodated generally within about 50 minutes. Anything in yellow would be like an hour to an hour and a half away from your request, and anything in red would be, your group was booked 2 hours or more away from your requested time, and or you were booked on the same course for 2 weeks in a row. We try to maintain a rotation. So by color coordinating it, every time we look at one of your times, we go to book a time for you, we get a really quick visual for how well we've been doing in a relative sense. What you can see from your group handouts, that's all the data that we look at. We try to really compare groups. We're going to look at Thursday morning groups to Thursday morning groups. We're not going to compare our Thursday morning group to a Sunday morning group because of the relative differences in accommodation. But
Does it make any difference if your request time is longer and shorter? You know what I mean? Like some of these have literally a half an hour that they want to book, and some of them are like an hour and a half. Does it make a difference in what we get or?
no, we don't treat the group who says they have an hour time frame versus an exact time. We don't treat them any different. No. But certainly information, if your group currently is saying we want to time anywhere from 11 to 12, but really you really like 11:30, please tell us 11:30, because we're going to treat 11 the same way as we treat 12. But so just an FYI. But that kind of wraps up the presentation. So now we're gonna open the floor to questions.
So also on your point, as far as that goes, someone that has the hour and a half time, it may give us more of a leeway to know where that person wants to be placed, what they're happy with, as whereas somebody that just just try to focus as close to 8:30 as possible. If we have the option of pushing them forward an hour, back an hour, we don't know as much which way they prefer to go. So somebody that has an hour and a half, we know more their acceptable time frame relative. So it does help us, I think, accommodate with more preference from the member. But it's really is a preference that we treat it the same.
And on that note, the more information that you can provide us, the better for your group. And we want you to tell us, I have an 11:30 request, but please don't book us before 11. If anything, we want to be pushed later. Or the opposite. Given your preferences, you'll see on the handout, there's kind of the white space on the right. That's a space for notes. So that's where most groups don't have any notes because they haven't told us anything. But anytime in an email that you maybe talk about a snippet of anything that has a hint of preference gets added to the group profile. So then we're able to accommodate it at a higher level if possible. Mr. Pearl?
Mike, just a quick 2 questions, 3. We get request notifications, I presume they're coming from Forties, and then we get the assignment and it's a different course. I'm just curious what happens between the time of that request notification and the course. That's my first question.
Okay, we'll start there. So, as you all know, Forties does not allow us to suppress the email that you receive as we put your key times into the request bank. This is frustrating for everybody because we know you don't want to receive an extra. If you get 4 key times, you don't need those 4 garbage emails. what happens, so it's extremely rare that we put a group into, you're going to play Renegade, and we end up moving that group to a different course. Because essentially, as we're submitting all the group tee times, we're building the sheet as close to as we anticipate approving it. So we do everything we can to maintain consistency between that first email you get and the second one. There are certain days, generally are extremely busy days, or where something happens in the afternoon where the plan changes a little bit, and we have to, and in those rare circumstances, we might have to move a group. But I would say that happens in an extremely rare circumstance.
Since you know that if you're doing that, I guess part of my question involves the fact that you get an excessive number of requests from membership for those. Are you shifting the group because of that? I think we're all members basically, and you give us assignment. I sign up, I gotta live with what's available. You're not gonna ship somebody off on a course.
Yep. So part of the agreement between us as the facilitators and our group leaders is that we are looking to balance to move everybody on an equitable basis across all courses. So as you might expect, maybe not, in season, say Chiricahua and Geronimo get far more individual tee time requests than any other course. In that respect, there's certain, it's all about balance for us, because we see about half of the members going into the request system, or half of the people participating in the request system are groups, the other half are individual members, so everybody's members. But there's certain days, say a Saturday morning, where I'm going to have to move a number of requests off of Chiricahua, so I can accommodate some groups who need to get on Chiricahua. And in the same respect for Geronimo. So we are just looking to balance, and it's
You're doing a good job.
it's not a perfect thing. We do our best, but it might be one Saturday that you can clearly look at. Okay, we gave a little preference to the groups on this Saturday, and then the next Saturday maybe some of the individual member requests got slightly better accommodated, but it's really just a balancing act.
I'd just like to make a comment. I think we're a small group. You guys are the best thing I've ever been on.
Mr. Yep.
Mike, I think you're looking at the system, individuals who use the system tend to request adoptions. They're requesting Chiricahua or Geronimo or whatever the case may be.
Right.
What percentage of the time are they actually getting that course versus are they being moved to accommodate the group?
Yeah, so it wasn't included in here, but I think it's about 97% of all requests are kept on the course that they're reserved on. So a certain amount of that 97% are going to be our groups, but
For most of the groups, I mean, we don't request a golf course.
Exactly.
We simply have time, and you're allocating us to a golf course.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that 90% of the individuals using the system are getting the specific golf course that they're requesting, that to me is a disadvantage of groups.
They get the golf course, but they're not getting time. They request as well too. So it's a balancing act. These two are the wizards behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz.
part of the concession as group leaders that you're making is that you do it to be rotated equitably around all the courses. And something that you receive that other members don't is the opportunity to get more than 2 consecutive tee times connected. So for the opportunity to get 6 consecutive times in your group on Chiricahua on a Saturday morning, that's something that an individual member can put in a request for 1 to 2 times on Chiricahua Saturday morning, and they'll get that at a high percentage, so that's generally, as I think we see it, relative to the group program versus individual member requests. Mr. Cuomo?
Yeah, Mike, is there other blocks of time that, like 11 o'clock, that are used, they used to be used by real estate people and stuff like that? My group used to go off at 11, in an hour and 27 minutes on average. Like,
There are no blocks of time allocated for, no.
so all those times are generally available, right?
Yes. Ms. Simmons?
You guys do an amazing job, I just finished. I do have one comment from last year. In April, and our group was very full at that time, the 2 weeks that were blocked off because of, I forget, it was a member agreement, and 1 week was the women and 1 week was men, and it was decided that there would be no group times reserved, and so we were just totally scrambling. Everybody, sort of the last month, everybody can play together. Totally scrambling. Everybody's putting in names, your times, and trying to. It was a nightmare for us, and I know it was a nightmare for the shop trying to get, because they tried to help us put our groups together and everything. Is there a reason that we can't keep? You guys can't give us our requested times during those 2 weeks of play?
There's times throughout the season when we deem that we look at the total number of individual requests and the total number of groups that have requested it. And we look at the number of total tee times that are available on the 2 or 3 open courses there when we have a big event like our member guests. And when we see tee times going past the point where all the members can finish 18 holes, at that point we just deem that by allowing the groups to request large blocks, we're really, in that case, accommodating the groups to a much higher level than maybe the individual requests on that day. So it's really just a matter of trying to be as fair as possible for everybody and understanding that on those rare occasions, those couple of weeks throughout the year, we just can't accommodate all of the groups tying together at a certain number of tee times. So it's really just a matter of trying to be equitable and fair to the whole membership.
Putting in their times, so they're requesting the times anyway.
Yeah.
And even if you just took 2 courses that you say, these are the request times for those particular weeks.
That's actually a great point, and I can tell you where it originated, and I think what Michael and Eric have done is will allow us to sit down with the golf committee and the board in the future. Is optically, 4 years ago, the numbers that reflected the way the old system before we had 4 tees would say, told us that we had, Mr. Smith was in the group at the time, that we had 78% of all golf was group golf. Well, you're not seeing that. It's 31%, which the hard part as a director of golf is when I get in a room with somebody who's not in a group and says, well, why are you letting all these groups on the golf course? And you have to explain to them, well, they're members and they pay the same dues, they just happen to play a group. So optically, I think we can get away from that suspending group golf situation during those times, because it's not as excessive as you think. And the fact is that we don't do anything small around here. And we've got 324 men next week and over 200 women and members that you folks play golf and you like to play golf. So I think you'll see us go forward with, we're looking to change that rule. We have a lot of stuff that's on the docket for the board this month that will be some really beneficial rule changes at the club as far as monitoring play and access to the golf course. I think you'll be excited.
So you're saying you are going to look at trying to accommodate?
Yes. I want to make your life as easy as possible.
Mr. Stoll?
Yes, can you tell us at this point what weeks there will be no group play?
Well, right now, the only weeks we would be slated to be the last 2 weeks in April, which happens to be Mountain Magic and Mountain Mania currently. But watch for some more information coming forward before the first of the year.
I don't know if it's possible, but, we have courses that are open, that are car pass only, that are just recently opened, and we have courses that there's construction on, and we have courses that, there are a number of things going on at the same time right now. if it's possible for you to look at the fact, it seems, maybe not, I know we ended up on Renegade 4 weeks in a row, I think I spoke to Eric about that, the Tuesday group. If it's possible, and I know you don't like to move the membership around, but I think they should share some of that time on some of those courses. We seem to end up a disproportionate amount of time on the courses that are just opening, under construction, this type of thing. And I think everyone should have to play that, not just groups. So if you get a chance to look at that, I think it'd be reasonable that everybody share that.
I think the three gentlemen in the front of the room agree.
Any other questions?
Questions in relation to group golf?
Just one quick question. Is it possible, I know, since you're doing a rotation of courses, is it possible to advise us of the rotation for a month for our groups? Or is that not possible?
That would be in the not possible category, yeah. We take accommodation, or we look at tea time booking on a day-to-day basis, so we're looking 8 days in advance, and we look, because the potential course closures on that day dictate something, those course closures usually aren't maybe completely updated more than 8 days in advance. And then the individual tea time requests that are submitted for each course, that also dictates how we, essentially, if we're putting together the puzzle with our standing group requests and our individual tea time requests, the variables change on a daily basis.
Once you know what you have available for membership, if you were locked in, then you know where you're going.
It's part of the balance that we try to keep between our member groups and the individual tea time requests. So right now you saw that statistically speaking, even though there is a certain level of statistical error, we see that our groups are accommodated at a very similar rate to our individual member is.
And I think the thing to remember too, the great job these two young men have done, that you folks are defying the odds of the golf industry right now. Because every panel I go sit on or lecture I go to listen to, everybody's talking about how their rounds are down. And they're trying to come up with more rounds of golf. Since I walked on this property in late 2012, your round totals have done nothing but increase. First year we did 132,000. We're going to, with a horrific January, nobody remembers last January how bad the weather was. We were 28 out of 31 days impacted either by frost, rain, snow, sleet. We're going to still crack almost 145,000 round area this year, which is incredible. And we got a 7th golf course coming online in 14 months.
So your budget's pretty great, sir.
It's not my goal.
Michael, what happens if groups do not utilize the full amount, the full number of tea times that they wind up requesting? Can you go through the procedure on that?
Yeah, so that part, it is a little bit sticky. It's a little difficult for us because we reserve a group of tea times on behalf of a lot of, and you as group leaders are populating those times. So we know all of the group leaders, but we don't know every member who participates in every group. So as soon as a member takes his group times and populates those times with members, it becomes difficult for us after, say, 4 days after we approve those tea times to say definitively, oh yeah, that group actually is only using 3 of their 5 times. That said, for those being involved in the system for quite a while and starting to learn which members are participating in which groups, it's something where we do routinely look at the tee sheets the day of tee sheets, and we can look at which members, okay, I know I booked in 5 and they're only using 3. So we will reach out to those groups, and I or Eric would reach out to the group leader and say, we noticed that for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, you've been requesting this and only utilizing this in respect of, the membership, because it's not about us, it's just about the membership. You know, please be respectful and only request the most accurate number of times. And you see those notes that go out like prior to large events. You know, a lot of your group members might be playing in the member guest. You probably won't need as many as you usually do. You know, please let us know. But the system has historically been, we put the power in your hands. We let you decide how many tea times you want as group leaders, and we try to eliminate as many constraints as possible. But we do certainly do our best to try to monitor it after the fact, even though at times we can be a little sticky.
But like if such an instance were to occur, when do those tea times go back to being available for open?
Yeah, so that was a change that was made in the system a couple years ago, specifically for the reason that you're discussing. So it's 3 days in advance as of 7 a.m. in the morning. So essentially, if you have a Wednesday tea time in your group, going back Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, as of Sunday morning at 7 a.m., if that person hasn't updated their time, the X's are going to fall out. The way it's set up, and this is for both groups and individual members. So, say if somebody books a foursome with their name and 3 X's. If they add in 1 member, and then keep 2 X's, 3 days in advance, those X's are going to fall out, but they're going to still have 2 folks in the group. If that member doesn't update anything in their time, so it's still their name and 3 X's, the entire time is going to be lost 3 days in advance. So that's where we do try to do our best to look ahead at the tea sheet and say, oh man, this group hasn't updated their tea times. Let's try to shoot them an email or a call and say, Mr. Gilman, are you planning on updating your times? Can we help you out? Can we populate those times for you? But again, we do our best in that regard, but it's imperfect. But that is the whole idea, that groups that aren't utilizing those times, they fall out 3 days in advance to give the rest of the membership opportunity.
What you send out a warning. 14 cents. 14 cents on a warning.
Yeah.
And that 72-hour window has worked really, really well for us, and I think for the membership as a whole, rather than the 48 hours that it was.
Mr. Knapper?
Yeah, Mike, I have 3 tea times, and Mike sometimes fluctuates, but I only 2, maybe even 1. But I usually try to cancel it 6 days in advance. What's the best way to handle it as far as you're concerned?
In a perfect, we understand.
No, I'm telling you, a week in advance, I only need 2.
Yes. If you know more than 8 days in advance that you're anticipating less, we urge you to reach out to us with a phone call or an email. Something simple, and just simply know, next week, just once, I want 2 next week, and our normal moving forward. And that really, so that helps out the whole membership again, because it allows us to accommodate everybody a little bit better.
Mike, are we going to get, is there an electronic copy that's going to be on the member site? Are we going to get an electronic copy of this to share with our guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you getting it? It's still playing in the Detroit, so let's go.
Yes.
Football game's